Welcome to week 7 of the weekly briefing videos for market research. By this stage in the semester, you should probably feel as tired as I look, have plenty of assessment due, so you want this done pretty quick, and we can move on towards the ever-elusive semester break. So, this week, here's the deal. You have 3 chapters that you need to read. That's 8, 9 and 10. There are questions from each chapter, but there's only one question from each chapter in the tube kit. So you're doing Chapter 8, Exercise Problem 1, Chapter 9, Exercise Practice 4, Chapter 10, Exercise Practice 4. The questions are in the tube kit. The Chapter 8, I think, had the ugliest of the setups, which required you to look at page 300 of the Malhotra 2010 text. So I scanned that page and put it up on Wattle. I really didn't want to have to retype that page. So it's scanned, it's up on Wattle. You're good to go. You're outfitted. So that's what your requirements are. Your tube kits are due by 5 on Friday. Phenomenal run last set of tube kits about submissions, on-time submissions. Looking to see if we can do that again. Biggest thing about knocking this kit out this week and getting it in by Friday is that you then have a semester break. You're not working on this kit into your break time. That said, you've got an assignment coming up pretty quick after the break, so I want you to have a look at the solo assignment. This is going to be one of those weeks where if you can ask me some questions, I can start prepping material, I can start helping you out. But you've got to talk to me, you've got to give me the feedback. Ask in the tutorials, put through the messages on any of the contact channels that I've got available on the subject. If you don't put the message up, if you don't pass the message on to me, I can't react to it, I can't read your mind. So unless you tell me, I'm not going to know. Now, in terms of the feedback from Tube Kit 1, we have the marked. It is a slow and laborious upload. I'm really sorry about this. Wattle has changed the file management system. What used to be a relatively straightforward upload sequence has turned into a much uglier incident, so it's taking me a lot longer to upload. I can give you some generic advice towards the next assignment and the next kit. In the next kit, you are seeing a different set of questions. This is a different style to what you had to take on in the first kit, so you are going to use a couple of different techniques. One of which is that I'm asking you to be a little more creative. I'm asking you to write questions. I'm asking you to write multiple versions of questions. Now the thing is, I want you to put your creativity into this. I want you to be the one who writes it. Don't go find a perfect question somewhere out on the internet. Don't go copy and paste. Don't drop something in from the Malhotra text. Bring you. Bring your view. Bring your take on this to the tutorial kit. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for evidence that you understand and you know. Now, the thing about the tube kits, from the set that I marked and the feedback from the marking team, a couple of issues have come to my attention. I want to address them now and get them out of the way. First thing is, if you were taught that the ideal way to write one of these assignments or write an assessment piece is to find other people's words, copy them and paste them into a document, unlearn what you have learnt. That is not the appropriate approach. In my subjects, I don't care what happens anywhere else, but in my house, the house rule on this is quite simple. First time, I will assume that there is some form of major miscommunication. I will give you a warning. Second time, I will fail you out of the subject and activate the maximum academic penalty I can do. Basically, you get a warning shot, then you get an execution. Don't do the plagiarism path. It doesn't end well for you. It's a lot of paperwork for me, but frankly, I have a kill silhouette that I paint every time I get a student on plagiarism, and I have them formally charged. So I keep score and I keep tally. So there's actually a reward in it for me to find you, hunt you down, and wipe you out. So, let's talk about avoiding that. Here's the thing. I would like you, in the essay, the solo essay, and the group essay, to continue using secondary sources. You have appropriate referencing styles, and look, it was a minor number of students who were engaged in what I would describe as inappropriate referencing and a poor copy and paste technique. The bulk of you who were doing the assessment correctly with referencing, there was still a real propensity to try and use direct quotes, kind of like drop quotes, that you drop a line in there and like, done. Bad news. That's not how it works. So, we need to patch that, and we need to upgrade you. So what we're going to do is, in the feedback you'll be getting, the upgrade is take that information that you were going to previously put in as just a direct quote, and now paraphrase it, rewrite it, integrate it into your answer. Make use of your skill set, make use of your knowledge and your ability to translate ideas and apply ideas to the context. Particularly the group essay, there is no direct quote out there that's going to help you. That's the glorious thing about the way this thing's been written, is you are on your own, or with a small group, for that express purpose. You are going to demonstrate how good you are, and you are good, and you're going to show me that you're good through the way you answer these questions. So, the group who currently are using the full citation and it's integrated into the text and multiple resources, thank you. You're doing it right, you're doing it well, keep it up. The temptation for you might be to go, oh, okay, hey, I got this, and coast a little. Keep at it, keep going for it. Just, if anything, to lift to the next level, the next challenge for you in the solo paper is going to be, if you're using a few references, go to several references. If you're using several, go to many. Up your game. Challenge yourself to go that little bit further. Look at the possibility of multiple references per sentence or multiple references per support. Just look at the opportunities that are in front of you to really go hard here. Now, overall with the assessment, what I want to say is we have probably coated your document in track changes. We've probably gone way outside any expectation any of us had. I know I was averaging about 10 comments a paper, so was one of the other markers. Look, the whole idea here was we wanted to go and throw commentary and content at you in this opening phase so we could build. If you feel you open the document and there's this wall of track change comments and you're thrown by it, well, one, that's a learning experience, and that's, you know, if you ever send stuff out to peer review, you're going to get that. Two, the comments are there so you can build and improve. And three, you did want comments and feedback, and there was a group vote that put this situation in place, so this is why we did it. Now, moving on to the next assignment, the group assignment, there's also a heads up on that. As a result of discussion in Friday, week 6, I changed the final question. Now, in the vote that took place in week 5, 5 questions received a primary vote. 3 questions did not get a primary vote. They were only, the highest vote they received was 2. So they were all, the final 3 were all ranked as a second preference. As a result of talking to the class, I dropped that second preference question. It's now, I think, actually a stronger assessment task. I think it's a more cohesive unit, and I certainly appreciate the feedback that the group in the room gave me on Friday. I think it's a better paper for it, and that's why I have actually asked you to engage with me this semester in providing feedback on the assessment tasks, because if I am presenting you something that you understand and you know what you're doing, then that is a better assessment task than if I create something incredibly complex without instructions. We're here to learn, we're here to train you, we're here to teach you, you're here to learn stuff, experience and develop. That can't work if we can't build something that works for both of us. So thank you to that team. The new question is actually the meta question that was the overarching question. So instead of it being the first question, it is now the conclusion. It's now the last question. I have, as of the time of recording this video, uploaded the group assignment document. It's now called Group Assignment Final version 2. I think that's now locked down. However, if there are revisions and changes, these will be made and version numbering will be done. Most revisions and changes will be error correcting at this point. So if you see a version 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, etc., update to the most recent version. That was one thing I picked up, is some students were using older versions of the tutorial kits. You do have a comment to that effect in your kit feedback, but also it means that I want you to pay attention to Wattle. Things change. So you've got to be mindful that updates will happen, patches will be issued, repairs will take place. It's the 21st century, it's digital technology, we can push out new versions. You've got to keep an eye on it, you've got to watch for it. Alright, the last thing for this week is, knowing that we're bearing down on the Friday before the semester break, you've got assessment due in the afternoon. I'm not expecting a big one at the class, I'm not expecting too many people there. Instead, I'm going to ask for a favour. I've been setting this subject up so attendance at the tutorials, attendance at the lectures are voluntary. The whole subject is based around the idea of getting you to participate because you want to be there. In week 8, I need your help. I need you to come to the tutorials. I want you to experience a data collection exercise as part of this subject. I have a pilot study that one of my students will be running. I want you to have the opportunity to be there, experience this, fill out the survey, and then be able to discuss what took place. We will do a debrief, so at the tutorials or the lecture, depending on how we're going for numbers, but I really like to try and get this done in the tutorials. I will give you a confirmation that it's taking place once we have that locked in. I'd like you to be there so you can talk about it afterwards. So we can put the exercise on, you fill out the data collection device, we can then talk about the device itself, because I think that's going to be really useful, and I think you're going to find it a really interesting mechanism for capturing information. Then we're going to be able to actually talk about the process. Because you are not going to do a primary data collection of your own, I think it's necessary for you to experience primary data collection, see what one of these things looks like in the real world, and then we'll do the debrief on it. So that's going to be week 8, and I would really appreciate you being there on week 8. That'd be really beneficial. And the last thing to say, a tradition in my subjects is the bonus mark. So, the phrase that pays this season for the tutorial kit, the word is trebuchet. Mere use of that word in the document gains you a 1 mark bonus. 1 mark bonus on a 10 mark item is basically 10% gain. So let's see how many of you are actually prepared to use it. It's a question of trust. It's a question of faith, and it's a question of just taking a chance. Let's see if you got the word. You're going to deploy it.